The Orange can't even score 50 points in the loss to Notre Dame. A loss in the Dome in front of the largest crowd of the season. 50 points.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
And it doesn't get any easier from there as we turn to Joe for a look ahead to UVA. They're on a tear. Let's go.
Make some noise, Orange fans. It's time for the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe. Give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/Cuse Nation podcast.
All right, what's up, Cuse Nation? Thanks for tuning in to episode 49 of the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe. We can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, YouTube, and SoundCloud. I'm Sean, alongside my good buddy Joe. How's it going, brother? There he is. He'll be here. There he is. Leaving me hanging, dude. So, you know, just for the record, I was so upset at the game against Notre Dame. Everybody has every right in the world. Cuse Nation has every right to be just besides themselves and totally disappointed with that game. It's not the end of the world, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It just, you got a team, Joe, that you're facing a team, they shot 30.3% from the field. 23.8% from behind the arc. And you can't even score 50 points and they beat you by 2. I mean, it was not just devastating, but a little embarrassing. And, you know, that's
time to climb back on the ledge.
Yeah, time to climb back on the ledge. Exactly. What were we saying last week?
Yeah.
Help me up, give me a pat on the ass, tell me everything's going to be all right.
The ledge.
Holy cow. Just get back up there, boy, because I'll tell you what, UVA's no joke, too.
No.
And when you look at, we said last week, I guess Coach listens because he put Merrick in for 32 minutes this game and had Moyer in for 8. So there kind of needs to be a balance there. I feel like, I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. I don't know. Maybe he's testing some things out, but
I think it just goes to the hot hand, man. But
yeah, I know. But how would Merrick have the hot hand? I mean, what, watching him in practice? Because he only played.
No, he started Moyer.
Right.
Moyer started, and he didn't like what he saw, so he put in Merrick, and Merrick played well.
Yeah, and he also threw in. He played. I mean,
he played a Merrick game.
Yeah, he's played a whole lot better than that. And he threw in Howard Washington too for 2 minutes, and pulled him out. I don't even think it was a minute. This says 2 minutes, but for some reason I feel like it was under a minute. I feel like it was like 56 seconds or something like that. But
it wasn't long.
And you had it wasn't. And here's the thing. You take away of this game, you take away the last 2 minutes of this game. And you've got Battle, who in the last 90 seconds, he connected on driving to the rim and then got that. Notre Dame went down, missed their shot. He came back, hit a quick 3, and tied it with 48 seconds left. And then when they have the ball, he steals the ball. He holds the ball to get. I think there was a 4-second differential. He's holding the ball, and all would be lost when he just loses it. It appears that he just lost it, and obviously we know what happens after that. Fast breakdown. I think it was. Help me out, Joe Gibbs. They intercepted the ball, ran down the court. He missed his layup, and then Pfluger. Is it Pfluger or Pfluger? Help me out.
Pfluger, Rex Pfluger.
Okay. He got the rebound after a half-hearted attempt by Howard and Merrick to rebound. He gets the rebound, puts it in, leaves 2 seconds on the clock. I mean, it's done. I didn't even get off the couch. I didn't even bother. It wasn't exciting. It was embarrassing. and it was the worst game of the season, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
One thing too.
We got beat.
Go ahead. Yeah, take
we got
over.
beat in the spots. We got beat in the spots where we need to succeed. We've gotten the offense through some of the guys that can score with Battle and Brissett and Howard, but we get a lot of our points, a lot of our offense by just second chance points off offensive rebounds and free throw shots. And that was stuff that we just got killed with in this game. And I don't know. I talked to my dad a little bit. He thought that the refs kind of let Notre Dame bully us a little bit. He thought they let it get a little too physical. I thought there was some illegal picks up top of the 2-3 zone on Notre Dame when they were on offense against our guards a couple times on Battle that were never called. And I just think it's weird because I don't think that our game plan changed that much, but we only got to the line 6 times. They got to the line 16 times, and we're usually shooting almost close to 20 free throw shots every single game. So
yeah, we shot 6.
Yeah, so I just think that between that and then getting out offensive rebounded, was it 21-9 or 21-8, one of the two? We got out rebounded really, really bad, and with how our offense is and the lack of our offensive firepower and a lack of a fourth option, and it's just we need those things to happen. So we already know that pretty much every game is going to be like this. So we need to be able to get the points where they can help. And so far this year, the reason why we had such a great non-conference record was because of the fact that we got offensive rebounds and we out-rebounded teams and we got to the free throw line. So,
well, you're talking about the rebounds. We had thought we were a good rebounding team. I still believe we're a good rebounding team. If you listen to Jim Boeheim's post-game press conference, he had a different thought. Here it is.
Jim, do you think they're going to get 21 offensive rebounds?
We're not a good rebounding team. That was a myth. Complete myth. You got guys 180 pounds out there. Nobody's really gone to the boards except the last 2 games. And when they did, we cannot rebound down there. Physical guys, they're very physical, and they bang you, and we have trouble with that.
And you hear the big sigh from Jim Boeheim, the signature sigh from the post-game press conference. Now, I disagree. I agree that they've been taking it to us, but I disagree that we're not a good rebounding team. I think we've been a good rebounding team. It's not because teams haven't tried to get down there. It's because they weren't physically matched as us. I think he makes a good point. 180 pounds. I mean, dude, I'm like 175. So if you got a guy 180 pounds down there, that's not going to work. They're going to get out muscled. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But a myth, I don't know, Joe. What do you say?
It's tough to say because I think he does have a point. Because when you play in non-conference, a lot of the teams that we do play, they don't have the height that we have, and they don't have the bigger bodies. Once you get into ACC play, you see it a lot more. So I would say right now, I'm not going to go as far as saying it was a myth like Jim Boeheim said. But
he was pissed, too. That was immediately after the game.
Oh, yeah. But if this becomes a trend against ACC teams and ACC talent, then I would definitely tend to agree with Boeheim. If it comes down to, if it comes to fruition, that's actually what's going on, then I would definitely, there's a chance that he could be right, but I'm going to wait for there to be an actual trend other than just 2 games in a row like that. But I think a lot just comes down to effort. Rebounding is effort. Defense is effort. Hustling is effort. And like the last play of the game, like what Boeheim said, I don't know if you saw it, but he got asked about the last play with Frank Howard and Merrick and everything. And he was just like, I don't think that it was effort. He thought that the guy was either going to make it or the time was going to go off. I mean, he kind of stuck up for the players. He said, Merrick, nobody plays harder, than Merrick. And
in the nation.
Yeah, that's what he said. So, But, I mean.
They completely lost their minds in terms of the clock. Was
right, because if they hustle all the way down, you can see that line. If Frank Howard goes down and hustles, then he's going to end up getting that rebound, and we go into overtime, and who knows? But that's just like what we said before, playing with fire and playing these close games, not having the offense like that. That's just what's going to happen is because of your offense, you're going to get limited to where basically the game is going to be it's going to be in play all the way to the end. In every game, we're going to have to make plays in those last 4 minutes to win the game or hold the lead or come back or whatever the situation may be. So that's just what the games are going to be. So every game we're going to be able to blame a little bit here, a little bit there. That effort play at the end of the game, yes, could have gone into overtime, but
you go until you hear the whistle in football. You go until you hear the buzzer or the whistle in basketball,
I agree.
right?
I'm right there with you. And again, like I said, Boeheim stuck up for him, but at the end of the day, after watching that in film and in practice, if you were a fly on the wall, I guarantee you that they got some stuff for it and that it probably won't happen again.
Well, I hope not, because it was very St. John's-esque at the end of that one, and I'm not even trying to compare the two, but the effort, like Joe mentioned, I didn't even see Merrick. I noticed Howard pulling up because he was closer to the basket. But in talking about it, he said when he was talking about Merrick, he said, I think he and Frank thought the game was over. Obviously, it wasn't over. It was a horrendous mistake. If they both hustled down there, it would have been no basket. And now that's complete speculation. But they had the steam. And I agree. With a missed shot, you've got two guys that are contending 2-1 on that rebound.
Like I said, Frank Howard
there's a
would
foul.
be into the ball.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the buzz on social media too, from what I could see. From on our page, people were just besides themselves. They were disgusted, and if we want to be serious and we play basketball, I'm speaking. I don't play basketball. That's what I'm saying. But if we want to be serious and we play basketball, you gotta give everything, every game. Yeah. Because you can't score. You didn't even break 50 points. And, you shot 39% from the field. And for once, it's like they hit their threes. They did decent, 44.4%. I can't complain with that. They didn't get to the line much because Notre Dame had a game plan for Brissett. They knew that there were certain guys that they were just going to let him shoot. And they were going to let Brissett take his jump shots because they weren't scared of it. Brissett hasn't made these guys scared of taking jump shots. He's made them scared of driving the lane and getting the foul. They took away his game. Yeah,
but he made some threes, though, too.
He did. No, exactly. And that's my point. That brings me to my point. Thank you. We have to put together full games. We've got to make our threes. We've got to be able to drive and draw fouls. We got to be able to make our foul shots when we have the opportunity, and we got to do the easy stuff at the rim, and we got to get the rebounds. Out rebounded 42-27. We got 8 offensive rebounds. 8. Mm-hmm. After being in the top 10 in the nation before these last 2 games. So I don't know how.
And then everybody that Jim Boeheim feels deserving to get on the court has to pretty much give every ounce of energy to the last, like you said, till the whistle goes, till the buzzer goes off. They need to do it because that's how much they need to make up because of how bad their offense is. So
it's just bad, and you think back to Geno Thorpe leaving, and I wonder if. Maybe he would have.
We're always going to wonder, man.
I know. I wonder though if at this point he'd be making a difference. We brought him in for outside shooting. I
would like to think he probably would.
I would think so too. Not for anything. He's fresh legs, and it seems like that's always important.
Well, yeah. I mean, before the season even started, Boeheim, he talked about the 3-guard lineup because he knew what type of offense Thorpe was going to be able to bring to the team, because he knew that the guys down low, they really don't got too much other than Brissett. He knew that Merrick and Matt Moyer are limited to a point, and I mean, really, so is Barama and Pascal. So he knew that was going to be a situation where, I mean, I remember talking about it in the beginning of the season where I thought when it came down to conference play and end of the game and they needed people in there, I thought that Brissett, Battle, Howard, and Thorpe were going to be in there just based upon the fact that they could score.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but at the end of the day, it's all speculation at this point. But
it is, but it's fun to speculate, right? I mean, you can't help but wonder.
Sometimes.
You can't help but wonder. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes. Well, you mentioned.
Well, hey, Sue.
Go ahead.
Just one thing that I wanted to hit up too before I forget. Another thing too that we don't really think about is who knows how real good Notre Dame is. I mean, I know we blew that game, but
they did all right in the second half without the same two guys they played. They didn't.
Yeah, they outscored. They beat NC State by I think they were plus 24 in the second half, and they beat them by 30. And NC State just beat Duke last night.
Yeah.
Or the night before, whichever one.
The night before.
So, I mean, you look at the college basketball, everything's all over the place. I mean, Michigan State, the number one team, just lost last night. Or maybe Saturday night was one of the two. It was this weekend. And, I mean, Villanova has recently lost. So, I mean, you look this past Saturday, I mean, when was the last time that North Carolina, Duke, Syracuse, and Louisville probably lost on the last day or on the same day? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's college basketball right now it's kind of crazy. So
it is. In the ACC, the trouble on the road with the ACC teams seems to be carrying over into this year too. You mentioned we've harped on the Orange. There is some positive though that came out of the game, not in the play, but in Sidibe. He came in. I think he played 10 minutes, and he played 10 minutes. He went 2 for 2.
Actually played pretty well.
He 2 for 2. He had 2 defensive rebounds. And he got his 4 points, and he also had a block in 10 minutes. And he didn't look like he was in pain. He didn't look, didn't look like he was having too much trouble moving around. So, if you want to take a positive out of it, that's all I got for you. We were talking about French legs. I mean, it's gonna make it. If he gets healthy, he will make a difference. He'll do.
No, the Battle had a good bounce back game too. So
yeah, he did. He scored 41% of our points, by the way. So
that's
it's like
that's the kind of game he's going to have. We don't need him to go in there and score 30 or 40. We just need him to do something like he did. You know,
exactly.
He did enough to win the game. It was everyone else around him, or just the pace of the game. It was just the pace of the game was weird to me. Again, like I said,
really slow.
Well, it's not even that. Just as much as like the fouls that they were calling and the way that they were letting them play.
The intentional foul. There was an intentional foul missed on a fast break.
No, yeah, there was. Yeah, I mean,
Howard got held by the arm.
Yeah, my dad always has a conspiracy that everybody else gets the fouls when they're at home, but when we're at home, we still get hosed. But I think that's probably just a biased mind frame. But either way,
it is. But it seems that way though sometimes.
But what I mean by pace, I meant by like the pace that the refs called the game. Sometimes refs call it tight. Sometimes they call it loose. They let people play. Just so happens that the majority of the games, the way that we've played offense this year, we're going to the line a lot. And
well, even Jim Boeheim said that. Even on there was a couple plays, but that he said.
He thought Tyus Battle got fouled in the last play.
Yeah, he thought Tyus Battle got fouled on the interception, and he just said they're just not calling those. So it's one of those things where you just got to figure out what they're calling and what they're not calling, and it's usually based, through conference play.
Well, the way that game was called for us was definitely not a. It wasn't favorable. Let's just say that.
No, absolutely was not. With
and that happens sometimes with crews because a lot of time, the refs they control the pace of the game. They control the play. If Notre Dame knows that they can bully us around and push us around a little bit more because they got a little bit more meat on their bones and they're not calling it, then they're just going to keep taking it and taking advantage of it, and maybe even trying to take it a little bit further. You know what I mean? So it was something that wasn't called. Who knows what would have happened? Maybe they call some of those fouls and they call it a little bit more of a tight game. Maybe they calm down a little bit with their aggressiveness underneath, and maybe it helps on the boards. So you never really know how the way the refs call the game, how it's going to affect your play. But like you said, you just have to try to adapt to it. It's just sometimes some teams don't have that type of game to adapt to certain ways that the refs call the games. And I think that kind of game that was called yesterday was Saturday was tough for us. It was an unfavorable.
It was tough.
But you know what?
You score 52 points and you win that game, though.
Yeah, and that's how tournament games are going to be called as well, though. So
yeah. Did I cut you off? What were you going to say? Final thought?
No, I was just going to say that's how tournament games are going to be called, though. So if you can't win them now, then what's the use of getting to the tournament and then
they got to tighten it up, man. They got to tighten it up.
Figure it out. Either way, like you said, our defense played good enough. You score 52 points in the Dome and you win a game. So you got to be able to score 52.
24,300 people in there. Largest attendance at the Dome so far this year. And, albeit they were a little quiet, but they didn't have
blame
much...
the weather.
Yeah, well, yeah,
I
right?
won.
Yeah. Albeit they were a little quiet, but they didn't have much reason to get up. But when they did get up, you could hear them, and it just sucked, dude. It was embarrassing. So on we go. We're going to play in Charlottesville at UVA.
Yay.
And all-time record, I think, was 5-4. UVA's on a tear. They're phenomenal. Joe, What do you got, buddy?
Like you said, UVA is on a tear right now. I saw something earlier. They had percentage of the teams that have the best percentage of chance to get a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, and right now Virginia's number 2, right behind Villanova. The 14-1, they haven't lost a game since December 5th against West Virginia, and they've already beaten Boston College, North Carolina. In ACC play. I think there's one other team, but they're 3-0, right behind Clemson. And right now, Ken Pomeroy has them as the number 3 team, number 1 team overall in defensive efficiency, and that's really what we're looking at here. Is Virginia's basically us, except for they can score better. So they still got. Kyle Guy doesn't have the man bun this year, but he's their leading scorer and shooting 44% from 3-point line. Ty Jerome, another guy that's getting a lot of minutes. They got 4 guys that I think average over 30 minutes. Kyle Guy, Ty Jerome, another guard, Devon Clark. Is it Clark? Devon somebody. I forgot what his name was. And he puts up – he's the second leading scorer, and he's the leading assist man, 6'5", senior guard. And Jack Salt is their big guy, the guy that lost a tooth last year when we were playing. But they have somehow figured out a way to just lose guys every year, some of their key guys, and still just keep it up. A couple of years ago it was Malcolm Brogdon. Last year it was London Parentis.
Oh, that's right.
And now,
Parentis,
and now these guys just step right in. Another guy, Isaiah Wilkins, main rebounder on their team. They only got 2 guys that average over 10 points because they don't really score that much because of their defense and the pace of the game. But they do what we would love to do, but more efficient.
Well, they're more efficient at scoring.
Right, and then that's really what it comes down to is they have way more options. But we have had recent success against them. So
we came back from 20 down last year, I believe it was. Right? Yeah. Right down
and the last time we played them after that was when we beat them to go to the Final Four.
Yeah.
And we had that comeback as well. So we've had 2 historic comebacks against them our last 2 games. And now we're going to Charlottesville. What are we, 11.5-point underdog?
Man. What do you think about the pace, Joe, real quick? Let me just ask you.
It's going to be a slow one.
It's going to be a slow one. I think Syracuse averages about 18 seconds before their first shot. Something like that. That was before the Notre Dame game. That's a really, really slow pace. And Coach was asked about it, and he said that's too slow. What do you think? UVA specifically.
Well, I mean, for UVA, that's what scares you is that it takes them that long to get a decent-looking shot, as you would like to say.
Right.
And now we're going against the number 1 defensive team. So, it's not like it's going to be any easier the way that we've been playing. But again, I think the difference between us and Virginia is that I do think that we are a little bit more athletic, but we're definitely a lot more just a longer, more rangy team. And again, our our zone has proven to give them problems, but probably more than that, our press has been proven to give them problems. But they're still a dangerous team, somebody that you're worried about playing. We play them twice this year, so
they should be second or third in the ACC, in my opinion.
Right now, to me personally, they're the number one team.
I think so.
Just because, and the only reason I say this is just because with Duke, they just have such a good defense. Duke, I mean, it's tough.
Beatable,
yeah,
man.
Duke's
beatable, but they're good.
taking Duke. Yeah, but just losing to NC State though the other night, and knowing that Virginia's got a great D.
What was that? NC State.
And Duke's got no defense.
NC State was lighting it up on offense, man. And I'm not talking huge shots. I'm just talking just great selection.
No.
And
well, I talked to your brother about it, and he talks about Duke's defense is awful.
Well, good.
So, that's why all these games are so high scoring.
Yeah, their offense is awesome, though. Marvelous Marvin Bagley, the magician.
Yeah, but you're talking about Virginia, who's going to be able to stop him.
You see some of those shots he threw up against NC State, dude?
Yeah, and they look so easy.
Cow. That guy's a
That's
nut.
That's the problem.
That guy's a nut. Go on.
Either way, I mean, Duke, Virginia 1-2. I know Clemson's got a great record, but
FSU's good.
Man, Miami's up there. It's tough. It's definitely going to be tough.
UNC's
especially
overrated, like I said.
This game tomorrow night. I mean, Virginia, I'm sure, has just been chomping at the bit to get back at us, and now this is the first time since the last two games that we're actually going to Charlottesville and playing. It's just so we gotta go in there and we gotta try to do what we normally do. I think our only chance is to get in there and just try to play aggressive. We have to stay out of foul trouble and play defense, effort. Do not let them out rebound us or push us around like other teams have been. And honestly, I really think that the only way, again, like I said, is just getting a couple guys in foul trouble and going to the free throw line. We got to shoot.
We're at our best when we take it to the rim. When O'Shea Brissett can get to the rim and either lay it in clean or get an and one or just take the foul or whatever he can do.
Anything that makes it easier for us to get points.
Exactly.
That's
exactly. But that's
really
the key.
what it
They're
is.
the best when they do that. And O'Shea Brissett, like Jim Boeheim said, he's the number one guy in the front line for scoring.
Yeah.
To create them type of things. And just like as far as a matchup goes, you know, sometimes you get an odd matchup in football where you got a huge underdog and a dominant team, and when they play a similar type of game, I mean, it's a matchup thing, man. I'm not saying Syracuse is already lost before they even start this game. I would never say that. UVA is a great team, but you never know. You never know. I mean, Syracuse could shock everybody, just like NC State shocked Duke.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that college basketball it's always changing, and it's so volatile that like you never know what's going to happen. You know, you never know who any given night, like you said, someone could be off, someone could get hurt, foul trouble. The way that the refs ref the game, like you said, just straight matchups where someone just can't guard somebody else because of the way that they play. Like there's so many things that go into it. So I guess the one thing that really just scares me is that after, looking at all the crazy upsets and trying to figure out who the best team is and everything, Virginia's kind of been one of those solid kind of, they know what they are,
Yeah.
They're consistent.
Mm-hmm, they're
you know what you're
consistent.
going to get with them.
Yeah.
So
that's the scary part.
Right. But at the same time, we know that we play good enough defense to be able to stay in games too. So again, I don't really see a way that we get blown out unless we completely just steer away from the game plan and just settle for jumpers and just don't make any.
Can't do that. We saw that. I mean, we can't even beat Notre Dame doing that. So, all right. I guess episode 49 in the books. Episode 50 coming up, Joe. That's impressive. Never thought we'd last this long.
Really?
No, I'm just playing. All right, well, that's it. Tomorrow night, what is it? Sorry, I should have had this ready. Tomorrow
Tuesday,
night at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock on the ACC network or any.
God.
Yeah. Or it's not ACC Extra. It's ACC Network.
Oh, so it'll be on TV.
Yes. So, and obviously, if you don't have the ACC Network, which many people don't, you can go and watch it off of the pixelated ESPN Watch app, which is painful, but you get to watch it anyway. So, that's it. 8 o'clock tomorrow, UVA. We will try to get back here. We've got Florida State coming up. After that, about 4 days after on Saturday, so we should be able to get that done. So, plan on being back for episode 50 after that. For Joe, I'm Sean.
Hi. Are you? You're Sean?
Hold on, let's do that again. Hold on, ready? For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Hey.
You just heard the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe.